today's live, we're going to talk about going from survival to thriving. A lot of the times with just self-development and just becoming your best self, we are starting out in survival. Even when you go to therapy, the difference between coaching and the difference between therapy is that therapy gets you to survival, and then coaching gets you past survival and to thriving. So we're going to go through all of that. So the main point that I want to put out in this live, and I want to do a live specifically because I wanted a few bits of feedback from you guys as well, of what you guys want to see or what questions that you have regarding this topic, because this topic is so broad and it could be done in so many different videos, and like there's so many different points to say for this topic. So that is why we're going to go live for this topic. Okay, so the number one point here is that your brain is trying to keep you safe. Your brain is always trying to keep you safe. If it's telling you that you should not be going, I don't know, this is an example. Let's say your brain's telling you, don't go to this event, that you're going to meet other people that are going to increase your ability to get this job or whatever. Your brain is trying to keep you safe and say like, okay, it's a little bit scary to go out and talk to people, so let's just not go to that event. Let's just stay home. That's your brain just telling you it's safer to stay home because there's less risk. Your brain doesn't want you to take any risk. That's why it's pushing you to, it's not pushing you it's pushing you to stay home, and it's not pushing you to go outside of your comfort zone, live beyond your comfort zone, push beyond the comfortability that's keeping you in the same spot that you're in. If you keep living in this same cycle of comfortability and you keep living in the same cycle of the same routine and you're not changing the routine, you're going to stay in the same spot. You're going to stay in the same place, the same type of like level. It's just like in a video game. If you don't get a little bit better, you won't reach the next level, right? Because this level is harder. So in order to get to the next level, you have to play a little bit better. You have to just push your capacity for maybe speed or agility, whatever the game may be testing. But to get yourself to the next level, to get yourself to a higher version, you have to play at a better speed, a better effort. So you have to put in more effort, right? It's just gonna work like that. So the same thing with your goals with life. If you want to get somewhere that you have never been before, you have to do something you've never done before. You have to be working, living at a different level, at a different capacity, putting in a different level of effort. So I'm excited for this live because we're going to be talking about what I said, basically. Your brain is trying to keep you safe, how to transcend this, how to go beyond keeping your body and keeping your body safe. Like, you understand firstly your brain is trying to do that. So that's number one. Now you understand, and you're now going to see these patterns and these, when this is happening the most. So if say someone wants to, you want to go out, there's an event, like what I just said, the event. Okay, so the event's happening. Now you know, okay, now that you're aware, you're going to know my brain's trying to keep me safe. My brain's telling me not to go to this event because it wants to keep me safe. Not because it wants to make me successful, right? It's not thinking, let me make said person successful. Okay? So there's a person, let's say her name's Melanie. Melanie's brain's saying, Melanie, do not go outside. Do not. You don't need to go outside. You don't need to go to this event. It's going to be scary. Who knows what's going to happen over there? What if you fall? What if you say the wrong words? What if you make a mistake? What if you say something embarrassing? What if you embarrass yourself, right? That's Melanie's inner voice and what she's saying to herself. And that's going to keep her in this cycle. It's going to keep her in this cycle of not really going anywhere, right? It's going to keep you at that same level, just like what we said with the video game. It's keeping you at this cycle of the video game, and you're not going to get to the next level of the video game if you don't try harder or push through that mindset. Okay? Let me just see. So obviously it requires a different level of locking in and focus. I know locking in is like what everyone wants to say, and I've been saying it too, like locking in, a different level of locking in. Maybe before your level of locking in was like going to the gym a few times a week, you know, working regular, whatever you were doing, the same amount of effort you were putting at work, like not really doing much more. And you're in this, just, you can see how that's not really gonna take you somewhere new if that's just your routine staying the same. Your routine staying the same, your habits are staying the same. It's gonna just not be as well, it's not gonna be as effective for you. Right? Okay. Another thing is when you are changing your routine and when you're upgrading your life and you're upgrading your habits, you need to understand, number one, the people around you are not going to understand what you're doing. They're not going to agree, or they're not going to be doing the same actions. They're not going to be in this like-minded space where they're like, okay, I get it, like I'm in the same boat. Like they're not going to be doing the same things as you. It's just the same way where the top 1% person is not going to be doing the same thing as the 99%. That's the whole reason why they're the top 1%, is because they're not the 99. So if you're not the 99, that means you're not doing the things the 99 are doing. So let's say there's a Melanie, we just talked about her and how she's has this brain that's telling her to do this, and she stays at home. Her brain's telling her, don't leave the house, it's unsafe. What if you embarrass yourself? What if it all goes wrong? Okay? And she stays home. She listens to her brain. She doesn't transcend this survival instincts. This is the animalistic brain that's going to keep you small and keep you just safe. That's it. Nothing else. Nothing else beneficial with that. And then let's say Athena. Athena's brain is telling her a few of the same things. Okay, but Athena's done this before. She knows this is just her brain telling her these things to keep her safe. So what does Athena do? Athena does not listen to this. She actually transcends these thoughts, these animalistic instincts that she's having to keep her body safe. And she understands, okay, no, this is actually the thing that's scaring me the most. I actually need to do it. The fact that this event is scaring me, and the fact that I possibly would embarrass myself or whatever, there's no loss. You guys know, if you watch my channel, that I always talk about there's no losing, there's only learning and winning. So, Athena knows this mindset. She keeps this within. She keeps reminding herself of this, and then she goes to this event. She doesn't care. She's like, oh, of course I'm going to go. The opportunities, the possibilities, not the possibilities for failure, but the possibilities for winning, the possibilities for successes. That's what she keeps reminding herself of in her brain. So that's the most important part of this. And when you see the difference of this mindset, who do you think is going to win in this specific scenario? Melanie, where her brain is winning. Okay, that already kind of tells you who won this battle. And then there's Athena, where she overtakes her brain and she tells her brain, like, okay, we heard that, whatever. She detaches from her emotions, whatever her emotions are trying to tell her, whatever emotions are trying to hold her back, and she levels up and she actually takes action on this, detaching from this emotional side of the brain that's telling you don't do this, don't do that. Right? So you can obviously tell who's going to actually get the most outcome. The possibility for successes for Athena is 0. And although the possibility for failure in this specific scenario is also 0, like I just said, the possibility for success is 0 as well. But with Athena, the possibility for success for success and failure is both there. There's a higher chance for both of them, right? Obviously, there's a chance that you're going to have, like, whatever, an embarrassing moment or whatever. But why would you ever let that stop you from now? You're just increasing your possibility for success, right? So the more that you can do, the more that you can push outside your comfort zone and go beyond this animalistic instinct of your brain to keep you safe, the more you're going to see results. The more you're going to become a higher version of you. Now, this example is pretty simple, just going to an event and, you know, just having this possibility of having this embarrassing moment, this example here. But this can now be used in so many different scenarios. So many different scenarios in your life. Think about what your body tells you when you wake up in the morning. It does not tell you, let's shoot out of bed and let's go do a workout. It's probably telling you, just stay in bed. It's safe here. It's warm, it's whatever, it's comfortable. Like, you want to just stay in this comfort, this level of comfort. The last thing you want to do is get out of bed early, put on some workout clothes, and go for a run in the cold. I don't know if you guys have cold where you are, but it's in Canada right now, it's really cold. So the last thing anyone wants to do over here is go outside in the cold. And the last thing our body is going to tell us is, we're not going to be like, you're not going to be craving a run in the cold. You're not going to be craving a nice, healthy, home-cooked meal. Maybe you will. Like, maybe after your taste buds have changed and you become a more holistic eater, then yeah, your taste buds are going to change. You're going to crave those healthier foods, and maybe you will crave a workout and stuff, depending on the person. But when you're starting to change your habits and you're starting to change your routines, these things are going to be a little bit harder to get to. There's a little bit more of an activation energy that's required for this. So this is where you just have to detach from the outcome, not detach from what you want the outcome to be, but more so detach from the emotion that's coming as you're doing it. So when you tell yourself you're going to do this activity and your emotions are telling you, no, don't do it, like, I don't want to do it, or I'm lazy, or I'm just not feeling motivated. Oh my gosh, that's a huge one, is the feeling of lack of motivation. Well, imagine what everybody that's successful in life that you see on maybe movie stars or maybe athletes, speakers, artists. Imagine if they were just like, okay, well, they just listened and they're just like, okay, well, I don't really want to do it. And they just didn't do it. Or it's just not going to work out for me. Right? It all just takes this belief, or they're waiting for motivation. Imagine waiting for motivation. Imagine just like being an athlete and you have a game coming up and you're like, okay, well, I'm just going to wait for when I feel motivated to do it. Because today I just don't feel like doing it. I just don't feel like it. When you're an athlete and you're in that huge circle of that pool of people where they're picking the best one, who do you think is going to win? Who do you think they're going to pick as like the best player here that we're gonna put you on the team? It's not going to be the person that's sitting back and saying like, I'm just going to wait for when I feel motivated to start acting and getting closer to the goal and actually staying committed to my routine. You know, I don't feel like it today, maybe tomorrow. Or is it the person that detached? They snipped this attachment to this feeling that they have of like lack of motivation. They snipped it off. They're like, okay, I don't care what this mind of mine is telling me. I'm gonna go do that routine. Gonna go do that habit that I said I was gonna do. It's gonna be the person that detached from those emotions, right? And just did it anyways. That's who they're gonna be like, okay, this person has some discipline. They're not just motivated, they're disciplined. They're motivated to be disciplined, which is then motivating them. Because if you are disciplined, okay, you have to love the discipline more than the motivation. Like, the fact that you are waiting for a feeling, it's just not going to work out the way that you're expecting, right? You just have to do it sometimes, and then the motivation comes. So if you're more motivated to be disciplined, you're going to be more successful because you're actually acting first before the emotion comes. So your action is doing the work for you. And then as you're already in that action, you're already in that mode, now the motivation's starting to, bubble up, and now you're going to be working on momentum. Instead of just straight discipline, you're working more on momentum. And this is where life gets a little bit easier, and this is the flywheel that moves as it goes. Like the longer you're kind of pushing it, the more it just kind of flows on its own, right? It's always the beginning that is the hardest. It's always this like getting your feet off the ground or whatever, getting your business off the ground, getting your first whatever 10K month, whatever it is. It's always going to be the hardest in the beginning. And then as you get, more into it and you are more accustomed to this routine and your habits are looking better, then your habits are now becoming habits. Like the habits that you say you want to develop are actually becoming habits. That's when the actual like results start happening, and that's what things start happening on its own. It's more so like you're just doing a few more efforts to kind of keep it going. That's what the flywheel is referring to. If you guys have ever read Good to Great, it's a book. It's a big red book. It's actually not that big. It's medium size, whatever. But there's a chapter in there about the flywheel and how it takes effort to kind of move this big, heavy wheel in the beginning. You're kind of pushing this heavy wheel, pushing this heavy wheel. And then as you keep pushing it, it starts to move on its own. Right? So you're pushing this heavy wheel, and then once it starts going, it kind of just uses its own momentum. The weight of the movement is kind of pushing the huge flywheel. And now it just needs a few pushes here and there. The effort needed is less. The effort in the beginning was so much more. Imagine giving up in the beginning when the effort was so high. Of course, it's going to take more effort in the beginning because you're learning. You're learning how to how do I do this? Just like if you're learning whatever, an instrument, and you're learning piano for the first time ever, okay? It's going to feel so much harder than someone that's already a professional and they're learning a new song. You learning that song versus the professional learning the song, what's going to feel harder? What's going to have more activation energy? It's going to be the person that's new to it, because everything is new. So it just feels so hard. Just feels horrible, right? So it's just like working out will make you feel weak, but it's actually making you stronger. Learning a new skill will make you feel dumb, but it's actually making you smarter. Or learning a new subject, right? Studying, it's not feeling good in the moment because you're not at that level of understanding, right? And you haven't absorbed at that level. It hasn't integrated into the being that you are. So that's why things become easier as time goes on. So it's this beginning part that's the most important part. So breaking away from survival, breaking away from just like this base level and becoming a higher version of you, it's going to feel harder in the beginning. It is. But it's going to get better as you go. It's going to become more integrated into the person that you are, which you guys, if you guys watch my channel, you guys know that I always love talking about integration and creating these healthy habits and integrating them into the person that you are. So what are we going to talk about now? I know there's been a few people in and out of this. If you guys want to just let me know. If you have any questions, you can just drop them. But yeah, going into this and putting more effort in than you usually do, it may surprise some people around you. Maybe you have a partner that's living with you, or maybe your family members, and they're seeing you, maybe you're getting up early to do this run in the cold. I'm going to go back to this run in the cold, okay? Let's say you're Athena, and you're just making these new habits, and your family's like, Athena, what are you doing? Why are you out in the cold? What are you waking up so early for? Just relax, chill, whatever. It's winter vacation or your whatever, okay? Now, Athena, what she's going to do, she's going to keep going. She's going to say, this is just a habit I want to incorporate, okay? This is what I enjoy to do. It doesn't matter, you don't have to understand what I'm doing. This is just what makes me happy. This is what makes me happy. This is what I want to do. This is what I have set my mind on, so I'm going to do it. She just kind of ignores what her family member or her partner is saying, and she's just fulfilling the goal. Then there's Melanie. Going back to Melanie, she hears these opinions of people around her. They're like, you want to wake up so much earlier and go for a run in the cold? Why do you want to do that? Don't do that. Just chill. Just stay at home. It's warm at home. Don't go outside. It's cold. You're going to get sick. Okay? They're putting all their beliefs on her. All their limiting beliefs on her. And what does Melanie do? She crumbles under this pressure, and she now doesn't go for the run in the cold because she listened to the people around her. She let them influence her, and she's like, okay, let me just stay. Like, they're right. Like, I don't want to be too different from them. If you're scared to be different from the people around you, you're not going to have different results from the people around you. So look at the people around you and then look at the results. Maybe it really takes you to take out a notebook and you write this down. And you're like, okay, what is my sister doing? What is my brother doing? What results are they getting? What's my parents' results been? What's my friend's results been? What is this said person that has all this stuff to say about what I'm doing in my life and the habits I'm incorporating? What results have they had? Okay. Okay. What life and outcomes have they had? Do I want those? If you don't want those outcomes, don't take their advice. Right? It's simple. It's super simple, guys. If you do not want to live like this said person, these said people, please don't take their advice. Please. And although this is like so, it may feel like painful in the beginning because it's like your best friend or your mom or your dad, and you feel so close to them, you have so much love for them, you know they love you so much, but their brain also wants to keep them in survival. So if your brain wants to keep you in survival, their brain wants to keep them in survival, and they're projecting those things onto you. Where do you think you're going to stay? You're going to stay at base level. You're going to stay at survival, and you're never going to get to thrive. You're never going to get to this thriving mode. Thriving mode is where you want to be. You want to see, what potential do I have? What possibilities are out there for me? What opportunities are out there for me? That's the most fun part, is to just see what is out there. Of course, it increases your possibility for risk, but that increases your possibility for success, for winning. That's the most important thing to always keep going back to keep remembering. Every time there's like a setback or there's a failure or there's a, we don't like to say failure, but every time there's some type of loss, perceived loss, just have a neutral view to it. Why do you have to view success as good and failure as bad? Failure is a way to learn. You are never going to get any type of knowledge, experience, if you just are winning the entire time. You're winning in everything. You just are so happening to win it, you so happen to win at everything. You so happen to have no downfalls, no losses, no mistakes are made. There's just not going to be much growth. There's not going to be much experience under your belt here. I remember when I was doing my driving test, when I was doing like a driving, the driving instructors where they're like doing a test. Before my actual driving test, there was like a practice test. We did a practice test on the road with my driving teacher. And I'm like, okay, I'm trying my best. And I'm trying to remember everything. I'm trying to do everything. And he's quietly in the corner. He's writing everything down. He's like looking at me, like kind of just writing stuff down. Comes to the end of the test. I'm like, okay, thank goodness that's over. And I'm hoping that I pass this test, pass this practice test. And he looks at me. He's like, you failed. I'm like, oh my gosh. And the first thought in my mind is, I failed. I'm going to fail a real one. And then he's telling me all of the mistakes, a huge list of mistakes that I didn't even know were possible to make as mistakes. Like I was like, I wasn't even aware of that. You never even mentioned those things before, but I just so happened to do them. And I made that mistake, and he wrote that down. So now what did that do? It made me aware of possibilities where like, okay, no, I need to pay attention to this. I need to pay attention to this. Possibilities to mess up, or possibilities to, room for error. And now when you're conscious of all of those things that you could possibly have an error with, when you do the real one, you're more attentive to those specific points. And when I said to him, I said, well, do you think I'm going to fail or pass the real one? Like now I'm so nervous. Like he saw I was nervous. He saw that I was more, taken back that I failed this, because I was very surprised. I was like, oh, I thought I did so well. And this is the practice. So I was thinking, oh my gosh, like that means the real one, I'm not going to do very well. And he said to me, he said, no, everybody that fails the practice tests end up passing the real test. And so I was like, oh, interesting. And that immediately I thought of that concept that this was a while back, but immediately I found that thought of that concept of, yeah, exactly. If you are told what you have done wrong, if you now are aware, you've made aware of your mistakes, it's now an opportunity for growth. It's an opportunity for you to become more aware and how to improve. If I never made that mistake, I just so happened to, maybe that obstacle didn't happen or whatever, I wouldn't know how to deal with that one if it came up on the actual real test. So the fact that I went through all the obstacles on the fake test, what is it called? Practice test. The practice test, now I'm able to be cognizant of all those mistakes for the actual real test. It becomes so much more important to fail. So when you have failures in real life, losses, setbacks in real life, it's the same idea. Now you're able to actually win so much more. So every time you have a failure, like literally I look at every time I have a failure, every time I have a setback, I'm like, I'm so much more knowledgeable, and now I'm like this much more likely to win in the end or the next one. I'm so much more likely to succeed at the real test or the next test. It's the same thing with like sales. If you guys have ever done sales and you have a bunch of doors to knock or you have a bunch of customers to call and you are, maybe you've done all the customers, it's like no, 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 no. Now you're getting excited. If you're a really good salesperson, you know to get excited because you know a sale is coming because it's been a bunch of no's, right? If you're not a good salesperson, you're Melanie, and you're looking at this, you're thinking, oh my gosh, it's all failures. I'm just going to keep this negative attitude going forward, and I'm just going to expect to fail. No, don't expect to fail. Expect to win. Okay? When a good salesperson goes through this, Athena's going to go through this. She's like, I've got fail, fail, fail. She got no, 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 no. She knows the sale is coming. So she's getting more excited. The enthusiasm is staying with her. The enthusiasm is not dropping. She's not now talking to the client or the customer in like a lower tone. She's keeping a higher tone. She's like, she knows it's coming. This is the difference between a winner mindset and a loser mindset. A winner can take so much more losses. A winner, I promise you, a winner and someone that has been successful has lost way more than a failure. They have lost and they have had so much more setbacks than anyone that is in any position of failure. Because they kept going. And to keep going means you have a higher possibility of losses and failures. So you're obviously going to have a higher tally. That is like, I didn't even think I was going to get into that point, but I think that's such an important point. That's like such a fun point to even talk about. Like the fact that the more losses you have, you're just looking at, it's just like you can never lose. You can never lose. You're just constantly looking at this direction that you're going to take to winning, to success, as like there's just no other option but success. Any loss I have is just a opportunity for learning and growth. That's the most fun thing, like to just know that like your journey is just going to get better and better, and you're just going to have more growth, more development, more improvement. Like it's just like this mindset. That's why mindset is the most important thing, and that's why my coaching is focused on mindset, because it's the mindset you have. The person that says they can and the person that says they can't are both usually right. Goes back to that simple quote. So beyond this survival, this level of survival is this different version of you that's at thriving. That's the most important. That's the most fun part of this whole thing. If you guys have any questions, drop them. And we can get into the power of your words. If you guys know anything about the power of your words, you know that what you say, if you say, like what I just said, if you say you can, they're both usually wrong. I mean, they're both usually right. If you say you can and the person that says they can't, they're both usually right, because if their self-belief is that they can't do it, then they're not going to try as hard. They're going to be like Melanie, and they're going to taper off. Their enthusiasm is going to go down. Their energy is going to go down. Their self-belief is just not there. And they just are not going to work as hard. They're just not going to keep going. They're going to give up a lot more easily, faster. Rather than Athena, she says she can, so Athena will. Because she says she can, so she's going to keep going. She's going to have that same enthusiasm. She's going to have that same level of growth. That same level of energy going through it. She's going to just keep saying, I'm going to win, I'm going to win, I'm going to win. She's going to win. Because she's not going to stop, right? No matter how many failures she gets, she's not going to stop. The garbage truck is outside. If you guys hear noise in the background, but, right? So if somebody says they're going to win and they just keep going, what are the chances of success? Obviously, eventually, just out of the law of averages, there's going to be a win. There's going to be a success. And anyone that does something for long enough becomes an expert. Right? That's a very important point. To become an expert at something, you're doing like, what is it? 10,000 hours or something of this specific thing. So if you want to become an expert in piano, do it for 10,000 hours, and now you're more on expert level. Like now you're actually, you could say like, I'm good at this subject or this skill, because you've done it for so long. I think 10,000 hours is the number, but correct me if I'm wrong. So the power of your words is so important. What you say to yourself, what you say to others about yourself. If you walk around talking negatively about yourself, talking down about yourself, not only just to yourself, but to others. Like you can be humble. There's a difference between being humble and just being so like negative towards yourself, where like you're just bringing yourself down at all times. Like if you're just constantly telling yourself like, I'm not this type of person, I'm not that person that wakes up early, I'm not that person that's a hard worker, I'm a procrastinator, and you're constantly telling the people around you that you're a procrastinator too, all your friends, you're like, oh, I'm such a procrastinator. Okay, well now you're going to be a procrastinator because you obviously don't see a future outside of that. You just see procrastination as your future. If you constantly say like, oh, I'm just so unlucky, you're just going to keep being unlucky. Like you yourself don't even see a future outside of this unluckiness. You're just keeping this, like, also you're projecting onto other people as well. So now other people are thinking like, am I unlucky? And now you're making other people question their own luck as well. So just, I think negative self-views are just so unproductive, and they're just not going to bring you anywhere like good. They're not going to bring you anywhere close to success or anywhere close to where you want to be. Especially if you're watching this video, you know that you want to be successful. You want to be, nobody wants to live just, you know, at their means. They want to live above. They want to, not above their means, but you know what I mean? They want to get to this level of like success and thriving and just getting closer to their potential. Imagine how it would be to see like, what are you actually capable of? I know a lot of people when they go to the gym, I dropped my pen cap. A lot of people when they go to the gym, they think they can only do this certain thing. They think, okay, well, I've done this treadmill before so many times. You know, I know what my limit is, and my limit is 30 minutes. My limit is 1 hour on the treadmill. Maybe you're on the Stairmaster and your limit is like 2 minutes. You're like, oh, I'm just not a Stairmaster person. My limit's like 2 minutes. Okay, well, obviously your limit's going to be 2 minutes if you tell yourself your limit is 2 minutes. And like that video game, you don't do more. You don't increase your capacity for more. Right? Now imagine the person that doesn't listen to this. Okay, let's go back to Athena. Athena does not listen to this inner voice that's like, okay, you don't have capacity to do more than 2 minutes on the Stairmaster. Or whatever, the treadmill, more than 30 minutes on the treadmill. She's like, okay, whatever. Like, I know it's going to be hard in the beginning, but I'm going to keep going. I'm going to do more than 30 minutes. She's transcending these thoughts of survival. She's transcending this animalistic, instinctual brain that's just like, oh, let's just stay small. Let's just keep in the comfort zone. Let's just listen to our brain. No, like, your life is going to be so boring if you just listen to your brain. Your life is going to be so bland and so surface level if you just keep listening to your brain. If you just keep listening to what your instincts are telling you. Your instincts are telling you, don't do that. Stay home. Don't push yourself outside the comfort zone. Don't go more than you are comfortable doing on the treadmill or whatever, right? Like, no, like, you're actually capable. How do you think anyone else got to the level they're at? How do you think anyone else was able to run a marathon? You think they just woke up and they were just able to run a marathon? No, they actually pushed themselves. They pushed themselves each day to keep doing more and more. I used to know how to do I think I used to do dance when I was little, and I used to know how to do like so many different, I don't know, like random things like back walkover and front walkover and all those things. And then I just stopped for years and years and years. Obviously, like, if you, I stopped dance or whatever, so I didn't do these moves at home, whatever. And then I lost this ability, and then I was like, oh my gosh, I was thinking like I can't do this anymore. And then I just got right back into it, and I started doing them a little bit more. But I know that if I do those things again and I keep actually pushing myself to, like, you know, like, push myself past what I'm able to do and keep trying, then I'm eventually going to get it. I know if I learn piano right now, I'm not going to be very good. But if I keep practicing and I spend a lot of hours on that, I know I'll be really good. It's the self-belief that you have. It's the self-belief that you're going to be successful regardless. Regardless of how hard it's going to feel in the beginning, you're going to be successful. You're going to be able to do 10 minutes on the Stairmaster. No problem. Because you're exposing to yourself to this new behavior, this new mindset. You're keeping it for longer. You're going to succeed. Just like going through those doors, you know, fail, 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 fail. Success is at the end. Success is at the end. Keep reminding yourself success is at the end. Okay? And another thing is, we want to utilize our subconscious mind. Okay? There is the conscious mind, there's the subconscious mind, there is the conscious mind, and then there is the superconscious mind. Okay? We want to use this subconscious mind and program it for our success. So a lot of the times we are watching a really easy thing that you know if you're using your subconscious mind or not, is if you're watching a show and the show is maybe a little bit negative. Maybe it's a show about something stressful, whatever, something stressful. And you know the next day, not you know the next day, whatever, you're done watching the show, you watched a few episodes, you kind of got emotionally involved in it. You're like, oh, what's happening? What's going to happen? Like, you like the show. Next day comes and you feel a little bit of stress. You kind of feel almost like this character embodiment of those characters and their beliefs, their self-beliefs pushed on you. And now you're kind of looking in the mirror in that same way. Maybe that character was really insecure. Maybe that character was, I don't know, really emotional about a specific insecurity. And now you're kind of looking at that about yourself. So that had an impact on your subconscious mind. Again, if you guys have watched any of my videos on my channel, I love talking about the subconscious mind and programming it for success. So what does programming your subconscious mind look like? It means if, say, you want to improve like just your timeliness, okay, your timeliness or your cleanliness, or just like how you show up. If you want to just show up better at a higher version of you, where are you going to have a higher version of you? Other ways that are subconsciously programming you. So maybe you keep your car really clean. Every day you make your bed. Your room is really clean. Your kitchen, very clean. You make sure you only eat whole foods. You're not eating a bunch of processed foods. So you're having these successes in your life that show that you give yourself the best treatment. So now that aura is going to come off when you are in social situations or in professional situations, that you treat yourself with respect. Now people are going to treat you with respect, not because you asked for it, not because you told them. You didn't even tell them. It's just something that comes off. It's just something that people can see and people can perceive without any words. No, it's not a verbal thing. It's a very energetic thing. It's communicated. Body language is 80%. Communication is 80% body language. So your words are not really that important. Obviously, like if I tell you, if I'm smiling right now and I'm like, oh my gosh, I just like absolutely like can't stand you, like, or maybe my face can convey that. But if I'm like smiling and I'm like, I really just like, I'm just so like, I'm so mad to see you, or I'm just so sad to see you right now. I'm just so like, I just so disappointed to see you. And I'm like smiling. You're gonna be like, you're not. You're gonna think I'm joking, and you're gonna start laughing, right? Your body language is always more important than your words. So just remember that what your body language is conveying, other people are receiving that. If you have a body language and a posture of non-confidence and it's very closed off, it's very small meaning it's just kind of closed up in a center, like it's not very spread out, it's conveying you're not very confident. If you're looking down, there's no eye contact, it's conveying not very confident. If you're more spread out, you're not afraid to take up space, you're not afraid to kind of maybe talk with your hands, you're not afraid to have your shoulders back, then this conveys a different level of confidence. So this goes back to the survival, where your brain is maybe telling you, don't do that, close down, be small, don't look people in the eyes, it's scary. But again, who do you want to be? Do you want to be Melanie or do you want to be Athena? Transcend this survival instincts, and do you want to be successful? It's as simple as that. Ask yourself those questions. I think the most important thing, not the most important thing, the thing that has actually moved the needle the most is asking yourself these questions and letting yourself sit with the answer, the possibilities. Who do I want to be? What type of person do I want to be? The person that genuinely chooses comfort and leaves no room for successes, or the person that actually chooses to take a little bit of risk? There's some risk associated with this possible success, but it's worth it. Because it's not interesting if you don't take any type of risk, take any type of leap. The unknown is always going to have a risk. It's always going to have a risk. But the unknown is where the possibilities lie. And with a good, centered aura of like the energy that you're conveying out is good, positive, it's of pure intentions, I promise you, you're going to get return. You're going to get successes. You're going to get, it's going to happen for you. So that's how you can utilize a little bit of your subconscious mind, is just like the small acts or small habits that you do during your day. Small habits that you do, just make sure that they're conveying to your brain, not just to other people. We talked about what it's conveying to other people through communication, body language, your energy, but it's also conveying stuff to you as well. It's conveying to you that you deserve to keep treating yourself good. Once you treat yourself so good, let's say you have a month of just like absolute best treatment for yourself. And, I'm always dropping my pen. Okay, let's say you have a month of just like treating yourself so well and you ate so healthy. This is my favorite point. It's like having an entire like month of just doing something super that takes more effort, it's more difficult, but you're doing it for like a month, and now you're like, okay, it's just a month, it's like I don't know, let's say it's like really healthy diet or a really intensive workout. Now the month has passed, and now you're looking at your day because you're like, okay, the month has passed, the diet's done, the intense workout routine is done, but I don't want to go back to my regular life. I still want to do that. That felt good. So now you're more likely to do those things, maybe not to that same degree, but now you're likely to do them because it's in an easier way. Like, okay, let's say before was you're not allowed to have, like, the diet was like no sugar at all, no carbs, no sweets, no processed foods. Now that month is over, now you're like, okay, well, I don't really crave those processed foods anymore because my body is so used to eating zero processed foods. So now you're not going to go back to your old way. You're definitely not going to do that. You're not going to stick with this huge entire thing, but it's going to be easier for you just naturally do those, a little bit of those habits. It's like it becomes integrated into the person that you are. So this is something we actually did in at my last previous job in sales. I remember we used to practice in a very, very loud room. We would say this script in a very, very loud, busy, crazy room. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can't focus. Like, I literally can't focus. And then the guy that was mentoring me would literally say, but if you can do it here, then you could definitely do it anywhere else, right? So if you can do it in under harder circumstances, you can definitely do it and carry this into other aspects. Like, it's so much easier now, right? If you can, like, lift whatever, a certain weight, then you can definitely do that same workout with no weights, right? Maybe before you didn't know how to do them. You didn't know how to do it without any, like, even without weights. Now you did a little bit with weights. You pushed yourself for a little bit, maybe 2-3 weeks. Now without those weights, now you're like, this is so easy. Let me go back to the weights. So increase your capacity, increase your tolerance. Like, stop thinking you can just do this small little thing. Like, push yourself, push yourself. Why is your, like, expectations of yourself so low? Set higher expectations for yourself. Set higher goals. More intense. Okay? Not everything has to be so, like, small. Such small changes. Of course, small changes are great, but that's what the rest of everyone is doing. That's what, like, the whole population is doing. If you want to have real success, real change, really zero into something. Focus on one goal. Increase your capacity and your efforts for this one goal. You're going to see, like, the success of this. The results, the payout is a lot higher than if you were just to do, a little small bit. Have such low expectations for yourself. Keep saying, it's hard to do it. It's hard to do it. I'll do it when I feel better, when I feel like it. The success is not going to be there as much. Okay. Another point or reason for not doing your goals or, following these habits, like I said, is your dopamine is coming from somewhere else. And if your dopamine is coming from somewhere else, you're not going to be as interested in this specific habit. Maybe you found that, I'm trying to think of an example here. Let's say reading. Okay, reading takes some focus because there's no visual stimulation. It's just this mental stimulation of you're reading this. So you have to put in this effort to read this page, black and white page. There's no color, there's no pictures, there's no sounds. The stimulation is low. Okay? Now, when do you think, or who do you think, is going to focus better with reading? The person that just came off of 2 hours of TikTok, 2 hours of doom scrolling, or the person that just was doing some yoga, okay, with some calming music and just ate a nice simple meal with no show, no movie, just looking outside. It's probably going to be the person B, because they're not as overstimulated. Their capacity for releasing this dopamine into their system is not as high. If you just came from 2 hours of scrolling, doom scrolling, you have so much, like, your brain needs so much now to get this dopamine. It's just like when someone is on, like, a certain drug and whatever, and they need more the next time. They need more the next time. a small little bit of this drug is not going to do anything. So a small little bit of stimulation from this book that's, you know, it's still exciting. It's a book. It's like there's still a story to it. But this book is not doing it for them because they just came from this huge hit of like dopamine from scrolling. So your goals are not as exciting because you're doing a bunch of other stuff that's fulfilling your dopamine. So reading that book and doing that workout's not very exciting because you just were scrolling. I think scrolling is the simplest thing to say, but you can get this dopamine or this enjoyment from other things as well. This fulfillment from other things. Like maybe you just binging on food, or just indulging in certain habit that's negative or that is just not as good for you and not as healthy for you, just overstimulated in the wrong ways. And yes, we'll talk about that. But yeah, overstimulating the wrong ways, and then the goal now is not as exciting. The habit is not as exciting now. I don't know why I can't see the comments as much. Like where do I see them? I don't know why I can't see them. I think I just saw your comment somewhere about the book Ego is the Way. I know that book is very, very popular. The book is really good. And I think by Ryan Holiday, and he talks about stoicism and stuff. But yes, all of that is very true. Like, you are your biggest obstacle. Usually it's the enemy is basically you. Okay? The only reason you're not really getting to the goal, even if there's people that are outside that I mentioned in this live, like there's other people that are influencing your behaviors, the last person that decides if you're going to do that task or not is you. It's you that decides if those other outside forces affect you. Something bad happens, some lady pushes a cart into your leg and you're like, ah! Now you're like, do I have a bad day? You now decide. There's outside forces, there's other circumstances in your life, but you are the last determinant of like, is this going to affect my day? Is this going to affect the rest of the week or like how I treat people in my day? Is this going to affect on how I treat myself, how I carry myself? Is this now going to be like, now I'm so angry and mad and I'm going to have this negative body language, negative facial expressions, angry facial expressions? You're the last person that decides that. Last person as in, when I say last person, it sounds like I'm saying like you're just not going to be deciding that, but I mean like all these things can happen, but you're the person that's going to actually determine. Like, you actually have the final say. Let's say it as that way. You have the final say of what you're going to do about this. How you're going to deal with your circumstances. How you're going to view them. Right? There's so many like losses and there's so many setbacks that can happen, but you're the final person that can decide what you take from this. Everybody has these problems. Everyone has these like traumas, everyone has a bunch of baggage that's happened in their lives. But the person that is going to decide whether that's going to affect their attitude, their success, their habits, that all comes down to you. Right? So you really can be like your biggest, worst enemy. You could be the reason for your biggest downfall. And you're also the reason and you're responsible for your biggest successes as well. Right? Okay, so we're at I made this live pretty long. And I kind of covered most of everything I wanted to talk about. This is just how you become your highest version. This is how you become your the most successful version of you. Going back to the people that we just talked about, Melanie, if she's just not going beyond survival. She's not going beyond what her environment's telling her. Her brain is telling her. She's not going to be successful. To become the highest version of you, you have to be like Athena. Being like Athena knowing that you're going to succeed regardless, having that positive attitude regardless of what outside circumstances are telling you. Who's telling you no? Keep going. Who's telling you don't do it? Not sure why you can't see it either. I was talking about the obstacle is the way. The point is... Oh, okay, now I see. It's a good book. I just scrolled up 1 second. The point of the book is basically the long way is the short way. Go through the obstacles instead of taking shortcuts. Exactly. The obstacle is how you learn. The obstacle is the most important part. Go through the obstacles instead of taking the short. Yeah, exactly. So that is, honestly, that's what I was just talking about. I think I was talking about like 10 minutes ago. But if you want, you can just rewatch parts. I think about 10 minutes ago, I was talking about how it's the most exciting part is to know that, like, no matter what direction, if you have this mindset that you're going to win regardless, it makes the journey so much more fun. That you know, okay, I don't care. I can lose as much as I want. I can get rejections as much as I want. The attitude of winning is still there. Like, I'm going to win regardless. Like, if you have that, everything is fun. It doesn't matter. Like, you're just like constantly in this go, 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 like this mentality of like, I don't care. I don't care. If I lost, if I hear no, like, I don't care. If it's not working out for me, if I'm not, like, let's say even working out, you have this goal of like, I want to lose weight, and you're just not working out. I mean, it's just not working out. Like, you're working out, but you're not losing the weight. Like, detach from those outcomes and just keep going, keep going, keep going. It's going to happen. If you know in your mind, it's going to happen. I'm going to lose the weight. I'm going to lose the weight, even though I don't see it on the scale right now. You keep going. You keep going. It's a mindset. I promise you guys, when you start doing this, people are going to be like, what is going on? Like, this is just so weird. Like, you're not seeing results, stop doing what you're doing. No. But if you find the people that think like this, it's so easy. It's so easy. Like, that's why you have to surround yourself with people that think the same way, that already have these mindsets that you want to have. And if you cannot find those people in real life, then you find them online. You find mentors or coaches that have this mindset so that you can keep reminding yourself, having this repetition and this reminder, holding you accountable, that you're going to keep this mindset. Keep with it. Even working at a specific job, when I was working at the sales job that I was telling you guys about in this live, just being in a room full of people that have this mindset of, I'm going to win, I'm going to win, I'm going to win. I don't care how many no's I get. It's like so refreshing. It's so refreshing. Because before, it's like you're keeping this up yourself. You have to keep this mindset up yourself. When you see other people doing it, you're like, of course. It's like this like you're just reaffirming to yourself, like, of course, obviously that was the way. Because sometimes if you're staying in this mindset by yourself, you kind of have this like doubt of like, sometimes a doubt can creep up. And you're like, no, maybe I am doing this wrong. And then you see other people that you're like, this is reminding you of the mindset you have. You're like, oh yeah, I'm completely on the right track. Like, I know exactly what I'm doing. This is like, you're just reaffirming it. You just want to keep reaffirming this. Make your ground, the foundation, so solid that it's like nothing can corrupt this. No outside forces can corrupt this. Okay? That's my most important point. I feel like all my lives end up being an hour, and I don't even plan it. But somehow this reached an hour, and I didn't plan it that way. I just basically said everything I wanted to say for this video. And I think also the timing of lives is important. Like, I usually go live more closer to the evenings, like 4 p.m. I think it's way earlier right now. Eastern time. A little bit earlier. And so I don't think there's as much people in just like live watching. But yeah, this is one of my favorite topics. Going beyond your instincts. Your instincts are never going to tell you, like, you're going to have some downloads of, like, you know, messages telling you your dreams. You can see visions and dreams for yourself, but your daily habits and your daily activities, your daily routine, your brain's never going to push you to go beyond your comfort zone. Your brain is going to keep you in survival. So you have to detach from this. You have to go beyond this. You have to see a future, even though your reality is not showing you that future right now. Whether it's losing weight, whether it's going back to like the first example of going for a run in the cold and like you do not want to leave the house, everyone's telling you don't do it, stay home. You have to keep reminding yourself, it doesn't matter. This is what I set myself to do. This is the goal I have. And it's going to happen for me. I'm going to win. It's going to happen. I'm going to like stay this long on the treadmill. I'm going to make it to this. I'm going to be able to do this. I'm going to be able to lift that. I'm going to be able to reach this goal. I'm going to be able to get this job. I'm going to be able to get this relationship. I'm going to be able to, whatever it is. Okay. Whatever your goal may be, apply it to your worthy ideal. If you guys watch Earl Nightingale, the worthy ideal, I love the way that he words it, worthy ideal, because like it's so applicable to so many different people and their different goals. A worthy ideal, because you have this vision. I always say vision, a vision for yourself, this idea, this end goal, although there's no really end goal, because you're just going to continue, keep growing. But like I always say, getting closer and closer to your potential as a person, your potential as a spiritual being, to just see how much you can do, see how far you can go. Okay, if you guys have no questions, then I might just end it here. I basically talked about everything I was going to talk about. Talked about the power of your words, what you say. Although you have to keep this vision in your mind and you have to keep with the goals and the habits, you also are watching what you say just as much as what you're doing. And what you say as well gets influenced by what you're listening to and what you're watching. So maybe people on social media, the TV shows you're watching, the movies you're watching, if those main characters are just like always calling themselves a failure, if you're just seeing things. I remember watching the show this applies to is that show where they're like that family is living in that house with all the siblings, and like the dad's like a alcoholic. What's it called? I forgot what it's called. I remember I used to watch that show. Oh my gosh, what's it called? It's called like Shameless. Okay, it's called Shameless. If you guys have watched that show, it's so like, it's a good show, right? It's a good show. Everyone knows it's a good show. But it's just too negative. It's just not subconsciously putting good beliefs in your mind. And you have to be so strict with what you consume, because what you consume could really like put an impact on you. Think about what your parents say when you were a child, and maybe those became real self-beliefs of yours. If your parents think that they cannot do this certain goal, and they think they're not smart, and they think they don't know how to, well, I don't even know anything, like they're not directionally gifted, they need to map all the time or whatever, they can't go to the gym, then you're gonna start to like, it's so easy for those beliefs to now be passed on you. So imagine a show that you're watching and maybe you connect with the character, maybe you're like whatever, or even the music that you're listening to, if it's such negative beliefs, you're going to start developing those. You're going to start adapting those subconsciously. Okay? We need to be strict. We need to be so strict with what we're consuming, the content we're consuming, the people that we're watching, music that we're listening to, the words that are going into our brain, the words we're saying, the words people are saying around us. If things are negative, just let them fall off. Don't let them stick with you. Don't let them stay with you. Obviously, you can't control everything you're hearing. You can just control, you have the final say. Like we said, like you have the final say of what you let dictate, control your views of yourself. And also just always put yourself, like, after obviously your higher purpose and, you know, connection with a higher power, put yourself first of like, is this gonna be harmful to me or is this going to be helpful to me? I always ask that myself that question. I always ask myself also, what would someone that loves themselves do? For those of you that stayed for this live, that is like one of my favorite questions to even ask my clients as well, is what would someone that loves themselves do? If you're ever going through like a situation and you're ever going through this decision in your mind of like, what should I do? What should I do? What would someone that loves themselves do? What would someone that loves themselves pick? That could really give you some clarity and open up your mind of what decision to make, what to choose. Okay. Okay, guys, that's gonna be it for today. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in another video. I'm gonna start doing lives more often. I don't really do lives often at all. I think I've done like three or four this entire year. I usually like to make videos and then like edit them and stuff, like trim them down. But I think lives are really good because you are able to talk with your audience a little more. I get to hear what you guys are thinking or saying, and you know, it's more engaging, and you're able to get deeper in thought. When you're watching something that's short, a short or a short YouTube video, it's so short and it's just so like surface level. You're able to get more deeper. I love watching long form content because of this reason. You're able to get deeper into thought, into conversation. And this is where points really stick, actually, because when you're hearing maybe a story or when you're hearing characters, like when I say the Melanie versus Athena, you're hearing and you're able to visualize these points better because you're hearing them about a person, a story. Storytelling is how points stick better, how messages stick better. So I think when you go live and you're able to talk on a deeper level, you're able to have a deeper conversation, a conversation that's more impactful. So I'm definitely going to do more lives. Okay, but that's basically going to be the end of today. And